It's a problem that continues to grow around Florida, literally. An algae bloom from Lake Okeechobee is suffocating the waters off of South Florida. Environmentalists say the problem is man-made and requires an urgent response. A closer look now from our Christopher Brantley. Christopher?
Well, that's right, Ray. Scientists say this algae is unlike anything they've ever seen. It's spreading into the Atlantic Ocean and could find its way into the Gulf, putting the Suncoast in danger. Green algae, as thick as guacamole, is overwhelming water systems throughout Florida. Just how it got to this point is the subject of controversy. Government officials are blaming underground septic tanks, but scientists have a different answer.
It's called Lake Okeechobee. It used to be a freshwater lake that was fed by runoff from streams and rivers heading south, and the water then would flow through the Everglades.
Frank Jackalone is the Florida director of the Sierra Club. He says nearly 100 years ago, a dike was put into place to divert the natural flow of water from Lake Okeechobee, sending it towards the Indian River Lagoon, Atlantic Ocean, and Fort Myers.
That water is dirty. It's polluted with nitrogen and phosphorus, and those are the very elements that fuel algae.
So why is this algae bloom happening right now? Dr. Vincent Acomia, a research scientist from the Florida Oceanography Society, says Lake Okeechobee is being contaminated with fertilizers and other chemical runoff. When that tainted water mixes with fresh water, you get algae.
It's running off nutrients, so the nutrients are coming with the fresh water. And so that combination plus warm temperatures is going to create the conditions to cause these kinds of conditions.
Here on the Suncoast, we saw a similar situation that forced the closure of Nokomis Beach.
You go a little bit south of Nokomis Beach, we have a system that's called Cowpen Slough that drains into the jetty, north and south jetty area that carries agricultural runoff with it when we have storm events.
Removing the algae is not a simple process, and once it's in the water, it can be dangerous.
The skin rashes are a possibility. Certainly don't want to drink the water that can have intestinal problems as a result of ingestion of water that has high levels of bacteria.
Ending the crisis comes down to one factor: money. Scientists are asking the government to purchase land south of Lake Okeechobee to use it as an outlet for contaminated water rather than diverting it towards the coasts. Governor Rick Scott instead is using state money to help residents replace septic tanks. Jackalone says the approach could help, but at this point, Lake Okeechobee itself has become a septic tank.
It's a cesspool, or to use Governor Scott's term, it's a septic tank, but a really big one.
In an attempt to put pressure on the governor, Florida Congressman Patrick Murphy delivered a bottle of the toxic algae to Scott's office.
We have to continue looking at the projects that are underway that have been approved, get those things funded, stop pointing fingers, and do more.
No word yet if it's worked. As a solution is discussed, the only thing regular people at home can do is avoid using outdoor chemicals.
Fertilizers should be used for the production of food, not necessarily for the greening of someone's lawn. You can very easily have a nice looking lawn without the use of fertilizers.
Well, environmentalists tell us not using fertilizers is a gradual solution, but they say over time it could prevent this algae from forming, right?
Okay, good story. Thank you, Christopher.